class.
Thank you, and welcome to the 12 Days of Card Making. And today we are going to be making some diamond art Christmas cards or holiday cards. So I'm excited to kind of show you, first of all, if you haven't been introduced into diamond art, it is an obsession. It's something that you can spend a lot of time doing. If you know someone who is in a hospital or is on bed rest or something and has the time, this is one of those really great crafts that kind of fills the time and makes you feel like you're productive, makes you feel like you're completing a project when you put that last dot in. It's kind of like doing a puzzle, where when you put that last piece of the puzzle in, it really just has that satisfying feel. So diamond art is a great way to spend the time. It's very relaxing. It's very fun. It's very easy, pretty mindless. So you can be mindful while you're doing it. So we are going to be doing a little bit of diamond art together just to kind of show you some of the basics. But most of the time that we're going to spend in class today is going to be what to do with it when you're done. So when you're done with some of these different patterns and different pieces, I'm going to show you different ways to kind of mount them and put them together in cards that you can send in the mail. So two of them that I have to show you right now are this peppermint. So this peppermint comes in a pack that is, they are coasters. So they're a hard plastic and they come with a little bit of cork if you want to turn them into a coaster. But instead of turning them into a coaster, we're going to turn them into an ornament. So someone can actually take this off of the card that you send to them, and we can put a little string and they can hang it on their tree. So it's kind of like a twofer where they get a holiday card from you, but they also get an ornament to hang on their tree. Some of the other packs that we're going to be working with, this is one of my favorites. It's a new one that's out this year. It has these three things. It's meant to be bookmarks, but I think these bookmarks can turn into really beautiful cards as well. So you got to think outside of the box a little bit. There are some that are specifically meant to be ornaments that you can use as ornaments, and you can put those ornaments onto a card. So this is a Nutcracker ornament that came out last year. There's a couple different variations of it that's new for this year. So it has the little hook that you can just add a piece of string and have a cute ornament that can just come off the card nice and easy. You can also decide if you want to put some kind of message behind the part that they're going to take off. So if you want it still to say something behind that, that's something that we can talk about when we're making these together. So let's go ahead and change over to my other camera and I'll show you a little bit more about this kit. So this kit is really nice. It comes with everything that you need in order to make these three bookmarks. And these three bookmarks I have found will work perfectly on some really nice gold foil cards that are longer. If you have the gold foil cards that are wider, we can also do some different things with these. So you can pick whichever diamond art kit you want. If you want to pick the kit that has the peppermints, if you want to pick the kit that has the bookmarks, if you want to pick the kit that has the snowflakes, I gave several different options because it really is kind of what you think you like the best. But all of these are beautiful and all of these have really nice patterns that you can take your time and you can make, and then we can mount them onto these cards. So depending on what size shape you pick is going to tell you what kind of card to make. If you're not sure which size card to buy, you can always just use cardstock and you can fold cardstock into these shapes. And I can show you how to use some of the gold foil cardstock to kind of give you that backing and that glimmer and glow also. So I'm going to start with this bookmark kit because I think it's really fun and really interesting. And I have a couple of them that are already done and a couple of them that you and I are going to finish together. So this is the finished product. This is what it looks like when I'm done. I have all the diamond art completed, and then it does have a little tassel because it is meant to be a bookmark. So I can leave this as is, and I can leave it with the tassel, and I can go ahead and attach this in, or you can take the tassel out and just know that the person who's receiving it, they can put their own little metal clip, even a paper clip or something can go in to turn this into an ornament really easily. So if you want to add the string and hide it behind the ornament, that's a suggestion that somebody said. I think that's a good idea to maybe even include this. And in a little message in your card, say, hey, to turn this into an ornament, just add this string. So this is really adorable with the stack of presents. And just like this, by mounting it onto a piece of cardstock and having a little bit of gold shimmer, I think this is already a really cool looking card. But if you want to do something even more, we can add kind of a background piece to it. So the ones that I was showing you before, once I had my diamond art completed, then I picked some kind of background paper that I really liked that kind of went with whatever I was already using. And I mounted that onto this gold card. So that's what I'm going to do with these presents. I'm going to look through some of my card stacks, and I'm going to find something to go with this. If you don't want the tassel, another idea is to add just a little piece of embroidery floss, and that can be him already ready to go and hang on to a tree. So this Nutcracker is really, really cute too. It is in the same bookmark kit as the present stack I showed you. And this little stocking, this little ornament is adorable. So these ones still have some diamond art stuff that I need to complete with you before they're completely finished. But the stack of presents is finished. So we can go all the way through that process with a bunch of these different cards. So as you think of questions, make sure that you ask them in the chat. I think the first question someone's going to ask me, which is a good question, is how much are these going to cost to send? So I think that's a very important and a very good question to keep in mind. So when I'm thinking about these cards, I know that these cards take time and I know that they take effort. So I'm sending them only to a select few people, and it might be in lieu of a gift. So maybe you're not giving a gift to somebody, but you want to show them that you really care. And so this is a gift. It's your time, it's your care, it's your concern that you're sending this to somebody. And so this can be kind of in lieu of a gift because of all that time that you've put into it. So a normal stamp right now, I just looked it up this morning, and this is November in 2024, in case anybody's watching this video later. A normal stamp costs 73 cents right now, and you're allowed to put up to 1 ounce in the envelope for 73 cents. And then basically after that, any extra ounce you add, you need to add another stamp. So I would think that this would be okay with 2 stamps. So 73 cents, I looked up that 2 to 3 ounces is about $1.29, and 3 to 3.5 ounces is $1.50. So if you have 2 73-cent stamps, I think you're going to be more than fine in weighing this and measuring this out. But if you want to be more exact and print out stamps that are exactly the same amount as how much it costs to mail, then please do that. That'll save you a little bit here or there, especially if you're going to send out a lot of them. So
And
take
Meghan,
go ahead.
really quick, what is that size of that particular card?
Great question. So this particular card is 3.5 by 8.5. So it's a longer, kind of like a money envelope sort of thing. And this is something that you can make yourself, or if you can find it at the Michaels, you can use those too. So somebody just also added to maybe put that it should be in an envelope marked non-machinable. And someone else said that these would be good to hand out in the office instead of mailing. So I think both of those suggestions, thank you for participating in the chat. Yeah, if mailing might not work, or if you're worried about it being damaged in the mail or something like that, you can put it in a package with other things. And so then you don't have to worry about just mailing this. If you're putting together a box that you're sending to someone, you can put this in an envelope inside of that box, and I think it'll stay a little bit safer also. So yeah, handing these out in person is a really great idea. Thanks for adding that. But all of these are good ideas to keep in mind, because it is a little more challenging when you get something a little heavier and weightier. And of course, it could do some damage by putting it in. Another suggestion, of course, is putting a little foam sheet on top of it, because I do know that if you have buttons and clasps and things on a greeting card, you do have to be careful with those too, because that can cost extra money as well. So a hand stamp is an extra dollar charge unless that went up too. I'm not sure what you mean by a hand stamp. So maybe if you give me more information in the chat, I can know what you're talking about. But yeah, if you are going to mail these just as is, be careful, do a little bit of research, but definitely know that one stamp is not going to be enough for it. So you might want to actually take it to the post office and get their opinion and advice too before you go crazy and make so many of them. Otherwise, take them with you and hand them out to people that you see in person. And I think that's a great idea too. All right, let's get started on some diamond art. So I have this stocking, and this stocking is not complete yet. You can see a couple of spots here that have the letter L, which means that I still need to put the diamond art for the letter L into these spots. So in this kit, you have all the diamond art that you need, all of the different colors of diamonds. And in this particular kit, the letter L are really nice size, larger pearl kind of beads. So they're just going to kind of pop extra feel to this stocking with some larger pearls to really make it nice. All right. Oh, hand would be to not put it through the machine. Thank you. So in the chat, someone was saying about a hand stamp, which she mentioned before, is about not putting it through the machine. So thank you for all that information. A lot of you are more often at the post office than I am for sure. So each one of our kits also comes with a diamond art stylus and a wax caddy. And what's nice about these stylus and wax caddies is that they pick up these teeny tiny little diamonds, and they are able to help us put them into the exact places we need them to go to. So I'm taking the tip of the stylus and putting it down into some of this wax, and I'm getting some wax build up inside of the tip of this particular stylus. And what that's going to do is it's going to pick up these diamonds, but it's wax, so it doesn't stick to it. It sticks to it for a moment, but it doesn't stay stuck to it, which is what enables us to then stick it to these. So this material, when I peel this up, when I'm first starting this project, all of this is sticky, and all of this has a map of where to put all of the different diamond art. When you have your diamonds or your little crystals in your tray, you kind of shake them around in order to get some of them to be face up. So some of these dots that are face up are ready to go. And the wax on my stylus allows me to pull that up and place it directly into those spots. So I'm just dipping into the tray and grabbing it with the wax and putting it directly into the map that someone has already designed for us. Beautiful. And then I have these dots down here to complete as well. And I love the way they just kind of snap in, and it's a really satisfying feeling to complete each one of these pieces. I love that snap. That makes me happy. So the adhesive that's already on, in this particular case, it's a bookmark, is grabbing the back of this, and the adhesive is stronger than the wax. So it's allowing it to release from the wax and go straight onto the bookmark. It does have a nice hole in it already since it is meant to be a bookmark. So anyone can just add a paper clip or add a little piece of thread, piece of yarn, anything like that in order to turn it into the Christmas ornament. And then I have this card that's 3.5 by 8.5. So if you don't already have a 3.5 by 8.5 inch card, I recommend a paper cutter, or if you don't have a paper cutter, you can have a ruler and a pair of scissors. And you're going to be able to measure that out and fold it and create your card size. And then once you have the card size that you like, I'm going to flip through a pack of papers. So at Michael's, we have lots of different paper stacks for Christmas, and they're all kind of unique in their own way. So a question was, how long do I think it took to finish this stocking? And that's a great question, because I definitely watch TV and do other things that are distracting while I'm working on things. But I do think this would probably take me at least a half hour in order to do this stocking, because it is pretty intricate. You can see there's a lot of dots. Now, there are also ways to speed up the process, and I'm going to talk to you about that when I'm working on the Nutcracker. So I'll talk to you about some other little tips and tricks that I have learned over my own diamond art experiences that I can share with you too to try and speed some of these up. So there's another question that asks, what is the best glue to use to do self projects with leftover drips? And I love that question, and I definitely want to talk to you about that in a little bit too, because you might have noticed in my tray, I have some of these extra pearls. So I've used everything that needs a pearl in this kit, but I have plenty of extras. So what do you do with all these extras? And I will show you and tell you a little bit more about that. If I forget, will someone please tell me in chat that I forgot to tell you about that? I do want to come back to that, but I want to finish this first. All right, here is a Winter Wonderland pack. The Winter Wonderland paper stack has dark blues. It has, oh, Trills, got it. It has blues, it has reds, it has dark greens. I really like this. It's kind of like a nighttime Christmas feel. The Holiday Cheers paper pack is more of like reds and pinks. And it has this like touch of brown, almost gold, like a gingerbread kind of color that goes with it. So I really like this stack a lot too. I've been doing a lot of card making with this stack. One that I just picked up the other night is called the Blue Christmas Stack. And this Blue Christmas Stack has just a lot of blues, as you can expect. So blues and silvers more so than a gold, and just has a really dark nighttime snowy kind of peaceful feel to it. So I really like this one. The one I suggested for this class is the Peppermint Lane stack. And the Peppermint Lane, as you can imagine, has a lot of peppermint theme, has some poinsettias, has some reds and whites and things like that too. I think that I actually have the one from last year. So it's similar to this, but I think your Peppermint Lane is going to be a little bit different than mine because I have one from last year. And there is one more collection, and I can't remember the name of it, of course. I think it's Holiday Cheer, but I'm not positive. But it's a little bit more darker with even some blacks or some navy blues in it. And so if you want something a little bit darker with pops of bright color, then this might be your style. So whatever stack of paper you pick, you can look through and see what would be a good background paper for this lovely stocking. So in this case, I know kind of off the top of my head, because I've been using this stack a lot, I love this red with the snowflakes. And I also like this green. I think the green could work. The greens are a little bit different from my stocking, but there's one more paper that I'm going to look for that I think is going to be the winner. And it is like a red with some gold trim. And I think I already pulled it out. It looks like this with some red and some gold trim. That could be one of the ones I could use. Actually, I think I'm going to go with the snowflakes. Those snowflakes were calling my name. So I'm going to cut this paper down, and the card I'm using is 3.5 by 8.5. But if you're using a different size card, you can use your measurements. I'm going to cut exactly 3.5 by 8.5 to get started. So I'm going to, on my paper cutter, going to 3.5 and slicing this. And then I'm going to go to 8.5. Now, if your paper has a funky design to it, for example, if you have a paper like this, when you cut your 3.5 by 8.5, you're going to see certain things that, like, do I want that ornament to be on there, or do I want to pick a different portion of it? So you can kind of start with your 3.5 by 8.5 and then decide what side to kind of cut down on when you're trying to fit it into this gold frame. So the gold frame, if I cut off another 1/2 inch, it's going to fit perfectly into that white space, but you could also leave that white space on purpose. So if you were with us yesterday, Felicia and I were making some cards and leaving that white space on purpose, and then you can still have a really fun design too. I'm going to cut it exactly down to the size of the gold foil by cutting off an extra 1/2 inch on each of the two sides. And now I'm going to use a tape runner. And these Recollections tape runners are some of my favorites to use. They're so fast and easy. You just line them up and pull them across. And you don't have to use tape all the way across every single one of the sides. So I do leave some spaces in between. I don't have adhesive on all of that so that I don't waste or that I can use this on even more cards. And I do make sure to stay as close to the edge as I can, and I always go to my corners. The corners and the edges are the most important part to keep it attached to your card. There we go. And then I need to make sure that my card is going to open in the proper way. So I can put this down. And I have just a little hint of the white. So you see just a little sliver of the white. And then I have this card or this stocking, and the stocking is going to fit just perfectly onto this card. I can tilt it a little bit if I want to. And I am going to attach it with some adhesive foam. So this adhesive foam is easy for it to pull back off, especially because this has a plastic backing. So you can decide how many pieces of foam you want. The foam comes in circles and it comes in rectangles. It doesn't really matter which one of those two shapes you want to use. I'm going to use 2 pieces of foam. I'm going to use one at the top here and one at the bottom. And they're double-sided, so you have to peel off the sticker. But then what's nice about this is once it's down, then the person who's receiving this card can just pull it back up. Another option besides the foam is there's also little glue dots. So a glue dot, I think I actually used a glue dot on my other peppermint card that I showed you before. And then it doesn't pull off any of the paper when you take it off behind you. So that's another option, is glue dots rather than the foam. But we already have this really cool card. You could put the ornament on the inside and you could do some other design on the front. You could slip the ornament into the card. There's so many different options of what you can do with this particular card. Let's keep going and let's find some paper that goes with our stack of presents. And for this one, because it has those pinks and reds in it, I'm going to go ahead and pull from my holiday cheer paper. But again, if you just have one paper stack, or even if you have paper stacks from previous projects, I bet you can find some cool things to use to match those. So let's find a backing paper for this stack. Ooh, I like this white. I think that might be a good option. I'm going to rip that out because I might be using this for something else. It's kind of white with like brownish gold snowflakes. Let's see what else we have. This is very bright, a little too bright for me, but I love that gold foil and how that shimmers. Look at that. It's pretty disco. A little too subtle. So just flipping through to find, it could be cute on a plaid. That's fun too. A little busy. That's fun. Lots of different choices. But I think I'm going to go with these gold snowflakes. They're calling my name. But you can see there's lots of different options and you can really make these pop. You can really make these very fun and very festive. All right, I'm going to cut this paper down to the 8.5 by 3.5. So 3.5 first. And I'm going to go to my 8.5 mark and cut this down. And test and see what I like. Oh yeah, I like the way that those presents are going to pop on this. Then I have another one of my cards with the gold foil around the edges. You can make your own gold foil if you don't already have any. So for example, if you have this gold foil cardstock that I put into the shopping list, you can cut this and just do layers. So if this is a white cardstock backing, you can put a gold cardstock in front of it, and then you can have your ornament in front of that gold cardstock, and it really gives a lot of shine, which is very fun and festive for sure. I'm going to put some tape runner down. Here we go. And let's go ahead and place this over top of that. Now I cut it, I didn't do any tapering down, so it's exactly 3.5 by 8.5. So that gives you a different style without that gold foil. If you don't want the gold foil, it can just be exactly 3.5 by 8.5. And then we can add this by using our foam dots again. And taking off the back sticker of each one of those. This one feels like a party for sure. Stack those gifts. And there we go. So yes, this part's definitely going to take you some time, but like I promised, I'm going to show you some shortcuts when it comes to some of the diamond art. So let's go to my Nutcracker next. And my Nutcracker is missing some diamonds right here on his leg over here. So you can see all those letter D's mean I need to put the D crystal into all of those. So I'm going to find all the tools that I need, and I am going to show you a little bit of a shortcut this time and see if you like this and see if this catches your eye. So here are the D's, and I need my little gray tray to put these down. And you might be able to tell that these are going to be 4 going across, and they're all in very straight rows. So when you have a lot of those in a row, there is a shortcut to be able to use. So I'm going to pour some of these into the tray. These are much smaller than the pearls you saw me use to finish up the stocking. And these are the size that are meant to fit into this gray tray. And I'm going to shake these, and you'll notice that some of the dots are in the position you need them to be, and some of them are upside down. So what I like to do is kind of take my finger and brush across and start getting a bunch of them in a line, as many of them in a line as I can. And then once I have those in those straight lines in the little sections of this, then they are ready to be picked up with a different tool. If you want to go professional with your diamond art, I'm going to show you a spiffy tool that can pick up lots of diamonds at the same time. So I sometimes just like to take my finger and arrange these into the tray into a nice order. This is really good for those of us who want order in our life and can't stand the chaos anymore and just want something in our life to have a little bit of order and make sense. There we go. Those diamonds make me feel better already. So here is the special kit. And the special kit has all these different tips. And these tips, this one, for example, has a 5 on it. And so it can pick up 5 dots at the same time and put 5 down. This tip right here has 4. And since I told you there are 4 in a straight row along his leg, I'm going to use this 4 tip, and I'm going to put it into my tool, and I'm going to be able to pick up 4 at the same time. Now, another cool thing about this kit is that it comes with these little peppermint wax caddies. The peppermint is just like the thing that's protecting the wax. It's just like a little piece of paper or a seal over top of it. But the wax itself actually smells a little bit pepperminty or a little sweet, almost like a vanilla peppermint kind of mix. And so what's funny about that is that when you use it, each one of the dots is going to touch this wax caddy. And so it's going to have just a little tiny hint of peppermint when you are putting that onto your ornament. So it will give it just a little hint or a little bit of a smell, which is a nice Christmas bonus, I think. You don't have to use that, but you can. So I'm going to take this bigger tool. So this is like the big gun. Again, I'm going to take this bigger tool and I'm going to put this different tip into it. And this tip has a 4 on it because, watch this, it can pick up, oh, I didn't put any wax in it. Silly Megan. There we go. I can smell the peppermint. I have my wax in my caddy now. And I have 4 dots in a row. And voila, I picked up all 4 of those at the same time. And voila, I put down all 4 of those at the same time. So you can imagine that this little tool can really speed things up. The hardest part is organizing your crystals in your tray, but once you have those crystals in straight lines like I do right now, you just hover over top of any 4 of them, or even if you can't pick up 4, if you just want to pick up 3, just to kind of save you some time, and then you put them down and you have your 4 in a row. You can still kind of move them around, so feel free to kind of, there's even a tool in this kit that's basically like a big, I don't know what to call it. I want to call it a rake, but I know I'm positive that's not the right term. But it's kind of like something that puts you into the right, like it evens them out. What would you call that? I don't know what you would call that. A straightener tool, something like that. So if you want your rows to be exact, you can use this little tool to get in there and line everything up a lot better. So if you are into diamond art and you know already, like it takes time, it takes patience for sure. And if you want to speed this process up, I really like this cool kit. It's nice to be able to just lay down 4 dots at a time instead of 1 at a time. It also, because it comes with lots of different tips that you can trade out, I think my favorite tip to use is the 2 at a time tip. That was the tip that I had when I first started. The 2 at a time is really good because sometimes on your designs, I can find one. Here's a sweet little doggy. Can we talk about how adorable this dog is? But see how they're not all in a straight line on this design? But if you have the little 2 at a time tip, you can still do 2 at a time and you can still pair things up and do things a lot closer and a lot more quickly. So this is a kit. It would be a great gift. Yes. So somebody in the chat just said, this would be something so nice to give to somebody. If you know someone who does diamond art and they don't already have this, what a great stocking stuffer, what a great gift to be able to give to them and really up their diamond art game. So you'll notice it doesn't always have to be perfect when you pick the 4 up and then you put the 4 down, and you can always just kind of keep going. And if you only get 3 instead of 4, that's fine. I sometimes like to have my tool that picks up just 1 at a time kind of handy. In case I only pick up 3 at a time, then I can just put that extra one in without having to change those up. So someone just asked about these dogs. Oh my God. I'm in love with these. And these are also bookmarks, the dogs. And so they all have the holes. You could put a little Christmas, I finished this one. You could put a little Christmas hat on this guy and put him on a card too, because yes, please. So these are all Make Market. They're all in the diamond art section. I'm going to talk to you some more. Let me finish this Nutcracker and then I'm going to talk to you some more about different things to do with your diamond art. So yes, I love this little wiener dog. I love this little sweet dog. Look at this little sweet dog. And then Felicia and I were teasing because we believe this looks like Spuds McKenzie, or if you're younger, it could be the Target dog, but to us, it looks like Spuds McKenzie. So you can get these diamond art bookmark kits and you get all 3 of those sweet little dogs. Let me finish my Nutcracker before I get too distracted by all the fun, shiny things that I have on my desk. And I'm just pushing those dots together to make them in a straight line already when I pick them up. And I'm done, just like that. So I was able to put all those dots onto his leg just then using that extra kit, which I think is really fun and nice and makes it so much faster and so much easier. So now we need some backing for this guy. And I'm going to show you another option using this gold cardstock. So what I'm going to do this time is I am going to just make a smaller rectangle of the gold cardstock and just make this one really shine. So I'm going to start at 3 by 8. And I know that that's already going to be small, but I think I'm going to need it a little smaller than 3 by 8, but I'll start there and see what else I need to do. So here's 3 by 8. Let's see what that looks like so far. So far it gives us just a tiny little bit of white border. So I'm going to cut off another 1/2 inch and another 1/2 inch on 2 of the sides. Let's see what this looks like. Yes, I really like this. I know it's hard to see with all the shine. And then this Nutcracker can go on top of this. And how pretty does that look? So elegant, so nice. So with this paper, I'm going to go ahead and use my tape runner. So another question in the chat asks, what do we use for the back of our own created dot design? And that is exactly where I'm going to go next. So we are on the same wavelength. I will help you out with that. So I think that these bookmarks, because they're those long and skinny, fit really nicely on these 3.5 by 8.5 inch cards. But if you have the Snowflakes or the Peppermints, I think those are going to look much nicer on the 5 by 7 cards. But this looks cool. I really am happy with this one. Does the paper pick up fingerprints? Great question. A little bit of smudging, but not exact fingerprints, but it does kind of like dirty it up. I'm sure I have oils on my hand. I could be doing this a lot more carefully than I am. I'm going to put 2 foam pieces to hold my ornament right here and right here. There we go. I love this one. I think this is my favorite one so far. Love it. Awesome. Now inside you can put your own, if you want to print something out, if you want to make a little sticker, or if you have a stamp that just says Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, something like that. Also, don't forget to sign your own work so that somebody knows that you created this and that it is handmade. Or feel free to slip in a little piece of paper that says, hey, use this piece of string and turn this Nutcracker into an ornament, and give them a little bit of instruction on the fact that this is an ornament for them to keep forever and ever, or they could use it as a bookmark, which is what it was initially intended. So far we have 3 different cards that we have completed using that bookmark kit. They all have a little bit of their own style, but I really like all 3 of these so far. I'm going to put them to the side and then let me answer some more questions. One of the questions was about what do we do with those extra dots and how do we put them onto other things? So let me get into that question next. Yesterday, I was teaching a class, and feel free to go back and find it on YouTube. I was teaching a class using Michael's 3-step stencils. And so with an ink pad and with these stencils, you lay down one layer, you put on some ink, you lay down another layer, you put on some ink, and you end up with these very incredible designs that have lots of dimension because they're the 3 steps to the stencil. So what I was thinking about when I was doing this was, instead of having ornaments on this tree that are just made of ink, why not use some of those extra diamond art pieces and put them onto the tree? So this is really, if you want to go back and learn how to make these trees, then you can kind of use any of your extra diamond dots and you can put them onto the tree. So let's go ahead and show you how I did that. I have a glue, and Felicia, I know that this is Recollections. It's like a squeeze roll glue. I'm not sure of the link right off. I'm not sure if you'll be able to find it this quickly, but this is a really nice pen that has ink that comes out. So what's nice about this pen is that I can really precision put down some glue onto these teeny tiny spots where those ornaments are going to go. And then when I have extra dots from extra projects, like I'm sure I do, these are just some, I've been doing a lot of projects, so I have a lot of extra dots from a lot of different colors and places and things. So I can throw some of those into one of my trays. Here's a couple of my extra reds. Here's a couple of blues. Thank you, Felicia, for finding that. So it's a two-way glue ballpoint pen by Recollections, is the one that I just used to put a couple of different dots of glue onto this cardstock that I've already used some ink on. I don't know if I want green because that might blend in. Maybe some of these yellow. I'm just finding any of my extra little dots from other projects that I've already done. These ones might really shine because these are really shiny ones. Putting them into my little caddy. And I'm just going to pick up one at a time. So while I was doing all of that, the glue had a little bit of time to get sticky. What's going to be different about this paper right here and what I've already done on the kits is that this is not a kit. So it was not specially formulated to do what we're about to do. So when I put this dot down, it might stay on my stylus because the glue might not be stronger than the wax. So you can always just take your fingertip and kind of help it out. So let me hold this up so you can see what I'm doing a little bit better. If it doesn't stick right away, if it stays on your wax, then you can just use your other finger to place that. And you can still move it around a little bit while it's wet. Let me get a really shiny one. And here's a blue one. So you can attach all of those different diamonds to something else. Or if you happen to already have a card that you've created, you can add just a little bit of extra spice to it. For example, oh, this is going to be a good one. So a few days ago, I taught another card making class because as you can tell, I'm a little bit obsessed with paper crafting. And so in the first card making class I taught, it was quick and easy. So it's basically buy a paper stack, buy some foam, buy some die cuts, and let me show you how to make a whole bunch of cards very, very quickly. So if you need to check out this video, also go to our Michael's YouTube page and find this one. But this is another good example of, see these little white dots right here? Guess what I'm thinking about? Those bigger white diamond or those pearl-like things that we used on the stocking. So I'm going to take my little bit of glue again, and I'm going to put a little glue dot down and maybe just 2 or 3 of the spaces on each of the sides. And then I'm going to pick that up and put it down. And I'll hold this closer so you can see it in just a moment. I found that if I let this glue kind of sit for a little bit, there's like a sweet spot before it dries and that it's sticky enough to grab these, but not too sticky. We're not dried yet. So I love the way just adding those pearls to an already beautiful card could just make that a little bit more elegant. I'm obsessed with this, so I'm going to go ahead and add just a few more. So I really like the way this is looking. And it's so fun to be able to mix and match all these different ideas and all these different techniques to come up with cards that I bet nobody else is going to send a card that looks like this one. Even if y'all make the same card, we're all going to be just a little bit different in what colors we pick, what placements we use. So I think you're definitely going to end up with very unique cards that no one else is going to have. They're going to stand out for sure. Maybe one more. Love this. This is really pretty. I'm sure that this camera angle is not doing it justice, but that is such a cool extra element to have and add on to this card. So let's keep talking diamond art because, I mean, we're here and why not, right? So far we've made our cards. I've also shown you how to use the dots on something that's not meant for diamond art and how to add it onto those cards. I want to talk to you a little bit about some of the other diamond art kits and how you can play with them for Christmas or play with them for anything. So there are lots of different kits that you can get, and all the kits can do lots of different things. So I'm organizing my table next to me because I have so many things I want to show you. So some of the kits, like this flamingo, come on a canvas backing paper. So when I peel this away, it's sticky, and it just makes a really cool thing that you can then frame. You can then, since it is a little fabricy, you could add it to something, you could sew it onto something, you could do something like that, maybe turn it into a patch that you can sew onto a backpack or something like that. So there's lots of purposes and ways that you can use the canvas backing. But one of my favorite ones is when it has this little sticker on it that says multi-surface adhesive sheet. What that means is that what you get inside of this kit is this big gridded paper, and you can create your own designs on that gridded paper however you want it. So for example, I laid down just a bunch of colors. And then what I like to do with these is they're basically giant stickers. So I could take this and I could put it onto a laptop. I can take this and put it onto a tumbler. I can take this and put it onto a cute little journal like this. And watch how easy this is. It's a double-sided. So there was the sticky side that I used to attach all the diamond art to. But wait, there's more. Aha! This is another sticky piece. I want to line this up nicely, so let me take my time. There we go. And now look at this cute little journal that has that extra personalized touch of that diamond art. So this multi-surface adhesive is so fun to make up your own designs. I didn't even plan anything out, but you can always take a design that you already have. So if you really like this Nutcracker, you can put the Nutcracker underneath the clear sheet, and you can make more of those Nutcrackers using this paper, and then you can peel off those Nutcrackers and put them onto different things. So that's another thing that you can think about. Another idea besides this paper, so this paper doesn't already have designs, you have to kind of make them up yourself, or you have to maybe copy one or kind of work off of a different pattern. But another idea is these stickers. So you can imagine that as I keep talking, my desk keeps getting more and more full of things because I just want to show you everything. And so somewhere on my desk, I have stickers, and I am going to find them, and I am going to show them to you.
Well, while you're doing that, if you could show the dog art one again.
Sure. There we go. There's the sweet dogs.
And for me, if you could give me the SKU, that would help me find it.
Uh-huh. Yeah, well, I don't know the SKU right off, but I know I saw it online because I just looked at it the other day. So I don't know the SKU, Felicia, sorry.
Well, leave it just like that and I'm gonna find it.
All right, I believe you. So here is what I was trying to show you. These are different from the flamingo because the flamingo is on like a fabric. So it's like a canvas. They might be. We'll try. I feel like I looked it up before I was going to show you because I wanted to make sure that you could purchase them. So this right here is a pack that you can buy at Michael's that are all kinds of foods. So there's a little Chinese takeout, there's pizza, there's a burger, there's popcorn, there's all different kinds of food. And I already finished my taco. Now these are stickers. So what that means is that when you're done, they're a sticker and you can put them onto a journal. You can put them onto a book. You can put them onto a notebook. You can put them onto whatever you want to because they are a sticker when you're finished. Both of the kits that I showed you that have the sticker portions, they come with a sealant. So you don't have to seal anything, but there is a sealant. And let me show you that. Just full of ideas today. So inside of this DIY kit, this is the sealant, and it comes with a little foam applicator. So you just press this down and it kind of gives it that extra kind of glue seal finish, but it has a glossy finish. So it's going to keep all of these in place and keep them from falling off, especially if you are putting it onto something like a notebook that you're going to take in and out of somewhere. So what's nice about these kits, again, is that they have all the things that you could possibly use. I believe this kit, let me check. This kit also has its own glue. So instead of using this blue glue I was showing you before, you can use an actual diamond art glue. So this means you can put these onto any kind of surface you want. By buying this kit, you have something to seal it up with, you have something to add it to whatever else you want, and you also have plenty of place to play with these double-sided stickers that you can add. If we can't find the dogs, I'm sure the dogs are coming soon. So if they're not already online, I'm sure they're coming soon. And I'm sorry if I got your hopes up. Here we are. I also saw kits coming out for Christmas. I was just in a Michael's store the other day, and they have gingerbread houses that are diamond art. So they're little 3D gingerbread houses, but instead of putting icing on it, you can dot up different parts of it in order to make cool different designs. So diamond art is so fun. To me, it is so relaxing. This is a journal that I created with one of our kits too. So you can put stickers over top of journals that you already have, or you can find different kits. They keep expanding and keep making different things that are more and more exciting each time. One of the other small kits I showed you is an alphabet one. So you can imagine these are stickers like the taco. So they already have the patterns for the letters made out like this. And all you have to do is dot those, and then you peel off that sticker, and you can put that sticker onto any of these cute little journals we sell at Michael's, and you can give that as a little stocking stuffer. So besides the ornaments that we've been using on our cards, really any of these can be used throughout the year to make greeting cards. Once I have this giant sticker, I can put it onto a card pretty easily and say something like, "Have a bad day, let's talk about it." I crack myself up. You can make your own cards with these cool diamond art stickers. I'm sorry that I sent you on a wild goose chase with those dogs, but I'm sure the dogs are coming soon. So I think this is a great place for us to stop. I'm so glad that you were able to join me today and make so many of these different cards. So we definitely made some really cool things together that people can then take off and use in different ways. You can also think about embellishing some of the cards that you may have already made, or even cards that you bought. If you bought a card, but you have 5 more minutes and want to add some extra touches, I think that would be a really cool way to make that card even more special to someone you're sending it to. So thank you so much for joining me today. I hope that you come back and watch more classes live with me and Felicia, or check out our Michael's YouTube channel so that you can see all the different classes from all of the different instructors. If you do make a card today, I would love for you to tag me at Learn with Michaels so that we can share it with everyone. Or also feel free to follow me personally at the number 4M Coleman. You can see all the different cards that I've made for the 12 days of card making and all the other projects that are coming up soon. So thank you so much for joining us, and I can't wait to craft with you again. Bye.
And really quick before everyone
Sure.
walk off, I know that you guys were looking at the links. So if you are on a laptop or computer, know that you can save the chat by clicking on the 3 dots in the chat area. And once you hover over it, you'll see Save Chat in parent or quotation marks. Click on that and it'll save the chat so that you can have the links for later on. Because once this class is over, the chat is not saved. So definitely take that few minutes to go ahead and do that right now before I end the class. So please, please, please get all the links you need. And just as a reminder, tomorrow is the last day of the 12 days of card making. So if you are interested in that, please check that out. Hope everyone has a great weekend.
One more kit to show you too is we do actually sell kits like this that are actually cards already that you can peel off and put directly onto cards. So if you don't want to turn something into a card like we did today, there are kits. So feel free to browse through your local Michaels or browse online and find all of these things. Just type in diamond art and you're going to find so many different choices and so many different options. And now at least you have some starting points of what you can do and what kind of tools you might want to buy to really dive into this hobby. So I hope that you had a great time with us and thank you again for coming.